everyone, welcome back to Iceland for Worlds 2021 group stage. Joining us in the next game is Fnatic Bin, who will be replacing Upset in Fnatic's first game against Hanwha Life Esports. And if you're unfamiliar with the player, here's what you can expect from him. I got to meet Bin at the EU Masters this year, and I feel like he's been one of the big reasons for Fnatic Rising's success throughout the whole year, and especially during the EU Masters. This player is young, he's not afraid, and he's really successful throughout the major parts of the game. He has some amazing laning stats, he usually gets ahead in the laning phase, and this is not really where he pops off because Bin really gets activated in the team fights, and that's what we saw during the EU Masters semi-finals, especially against Misfit Premier, with some amazing Aphelios gameplay, Varus gameplay, and I feel like we can also expect some Ezreal today coming from Bin. Bin is not afraid, and what I like the most about this player is that he often says that being the underdog is his comfort zone, and I mean coming in today, especially against Deft, when he never played on the world stage, I think that he can show something, and I just saw him in the makeup room actually. He's super prepared, he's super excited, so I'm really looking forward to seeing him on the world stage today. Dash, back to you.
Thank you so much, Laura, for that introduction, and welcome back to the State Farm Analyst Desk. We'll see if Bean can find similar success here as he makes his debut on the world stage. One of the wildest playoff runs that the LEC has ever seen, and it's Fnatic returning to the world's group stage for the 8th time in the organization's history. They'll have to debut here against Hanwha Life Esports, and as was mentioned, Bean up from Fnatic Rising to join the squad in the AD carry position. But while we await his debut, I want to talk about a few other players, most notably Bwipo, Hylissang, Nisqy, players that were crucial to Fnatic's success when it comes to qualifying for Worlds.
Yeah, so if anyone's listened to me throughout the year, they know how much I actually love watching this Fnatic team. When looking at them matching up into Hanwha Life, the biggest thing for me is that Bwipo, from his start, has had really good synergy with his laners, really good jungle to lane communication. And then Nisqy is also the type of mid laner who's going to play more for his team than to dominate the lane. And now he's going up against Chovy, who's such a massive, important part of his team.
All right, so Chronicler, let's talk about that, right? Because Chovy has long been the focus of this Hanwha Life Esports squad. He was the most talked about player throughout all of play-ins, but I want to contrast everything that Emily just said about the style of Nisqy to what we know of Chovy.
For me, it's not really a question of whether Nisqy is going to be somewhat muted or capped down in the laning phase. I think that's kind of a given. Chovy does that against literally everyone, and there's not that much that I think you're going to be able to do against it, right? The laning strength is what makes him such a terrible player. But I personally have been pretty vocal about, I think that once we get out of laning phase, Chovy, and you can look at the play-in stats for this as well, has not had the same impact on the map. So there's two avenues. Either you attack Chovy while he's still in his laning phase, which if Haley can get out of that lane, he will, because it's Haley and it's Bwipo, and they'll find a way. Or we're going to have to see Fnatic kind of use the lack of action that Chovy sometimes shows post-laning phase, because during the laning phase, I think it's going to be a tough ask.
I feel like the big thing that pulls to me about this matchup is just the fact that I don't think Hanwha can get enough of an early game lead to go up and actually be able to close out against Fnatic, because Fnatic are the most aggressive team in the LEC. They're going to be able to find the lead, and like Emily said, I feel like they've just been a more holistic team than Hanwha have shown thus far.
And a lot of the times when we do see Fnatic lose a game, it's them. They themselves have said, we are our own worst enemy, right? Picking bad fights. But their strength is that even when they're going in for those fights, and maybe it's not the ideal setup, they all go in together. So that's where I'm really curious to see how Bean fits on this lineup, because I do think their synergy as 5 has been one of their primary strengths.
A lot of tempered expectation and trepidation around this Hanwha Life Esports team, even though they only dropped a single game in play-ins, and that was to LNG. We'll have to take a look at our match card fan predictions to find out whether or not you all at home agree with the takes here on the desk. And as we see 66% in favor of Fnatic, it very much looks like they do.
Yeah, I mean, I'm feeling it, right? Fnatic, I think, are coming in strong. We haven't seen them in a while, but the picks in this tournament, I feel like, fit their aggressive style that, again, they've been doing so well with in LEC.
Name of the game right now at Worlds 2021 has been aggression all over the place, and I think that bodes well for a team like Fnatic. We're ready for our second matchup in Group C, so here's Freak, Vedius, and Kobe for Fnatic versus Hanwha Life Esports.
They're talking about first pick Yuumi, right?
Yeah, of course.
Fits him perfectly. That's Hilly, right?
I mean, he's more of a playmaker, but he also loves playing Morgana. Many EU fans hate it when he plays Morgana, but we'll see what he decides to bring out. A lot of question marks, of course, obviously surround Bean, and it is travesty to not have Upset here at the World Championship. Of course, we are wishing him the very best, but I sat there and I talked with Dracos this morning, and I'm like, if Bean is going to go towards with anyone, Hylissang is probably one of the best supports you could have to go with, because he makes every AD carry feel great, he plays extremely well with them, and he's going to enable you the best that he can.
Just follow me, young Bean.
Yep.
Trust in me. I would definitely trust him as a lane mate. And I like that from what Lore said, at least. It sounds like Bean is approaching this this big challenge from a point of excitement rather than a place of fear. Sometimes, when the pressure mounts and you have these huge games and you're thrust into a surprising opportunity, people can get really nervous, but we shall see on stage how he actually answers it.
And a lot of credit to Yamato there, because he is very much about believing each other. It's the path to the peak of the mountain is very much his mantra, and we'll see how they stack up against Hanwha. As the bans have come through, they've already locked in a very early Lee Sin for Willa, and we only have to go back to the best of fives to remember how dominant he was on a champion like this.
And it's worth noting that, this is a time where Fnatic gets scouting. This is the advantage of being second seed from your region as opposed to fourth, where in Europe's case you wouldn't have even gone if you were fourth, but you get to see all the footage of what Hanwha Life did, that yes, Chovy's going to play the Trinity, yes, we've seen how well the Irelia has worked. Morgan has spent a couple of champions where he's actually looked good on the champ and has won some lanes where, it's been a rough go in summer. But, the task in front of Bean, because Hanwha Life, they had a really, really bad summer split, but by the end they realized they should be playing around bot side instead of top, and that's where all their wins started coming from, is putting more effort towards Deft and Vsta, putting effort down there, and now go redouble that, because you're against a rookie who hasn't even played a single LEC game, let alone an international one.
I like how they're setting him up for success with a early pick Misfortune here, down for the lane phase. Can't have super strong lane phase. Also can afford ultimates to spend early on just on clearing waves if necessary. Buying time for Hylissang to roam. That can really be a benefit that way as well. And locking in Nisqy or Ryze for possible roams fits right in with what you expect here for Fnatic.
So I wouldn't be surprised to actually see a support pick locked in now, because what they often like to do is to make sure that Hylissang is on something he's as comfortable as possible on, and then they rely on Bwipo's very deep jungle champ pool to then bring out something later on. Obviously, a lot of respect jungle bans thrown towards Bwipo to sit there and challenge him, but perhaps they will lock in the early jungler. Of course, this Graves can be very much flexed, but right now, my assumption is that it will be moving towards the mid lane.
Yeah, already one game from Bwipo during playoffs on it. And Adam, I really want to see Adam more on some of these champions like the Olaf that we don't get to see a lot of other top laners utilize. Maybe throw a Darius in there, that type of thing, especially when you're going versus Morgan, who, if you're looking at Hanwha Life, Morgan is the person that gets the most criticism ever of any point on this team and can be a point that you would want to attack.
I spent a year in WE in the LPL and came to the LCK, and it hasn't been turning a lot of heads in a good way. But we're gonna wait as we go through the draft. If you've been listening to people talk about League of Legends, talk about Korea, you've heard people talk about Chovy. There's a lot of stats you can say about Chovy. There's one that I like that's interesting. So in 9 games, all split long, he's had a negative CSD. He's been down in lane. Double that number, he's been up more than 20. And there's obviously the other +1, +19, there was a bunch more, but just he's more likely to be up 20 than down 1 or fewer. It's absurd how good he is in the early game.
Yeah, lane phase is definitely the crown jewel for him as well, and the hallmark of this team. So let's go through it though. The Braum comes in for the defensive option down there into the Aphelios Thresh here for Fnatic. Locking in some extra protection here, allowing Hilly to combine with Bean for both protecting minion waves as well as being able to take them down.
Well, Hilly is a little bit famous for his level 1 Braum too, so we'll see how things pan out in the bot lane. But Yasuo plus Kennen going to be locked in for Hanwha Life. So this is very much a Chovy game. He is picking out, like Yone was something that he really stood out on during the regular season throughout the year, and now he's going to go for his brother in the form of Yasuo. But we're going to answer with a Sett from Adam. So he's going to be looking to get much more aggressive up towards the top side of the map. He really likes to play these bruisers that can get in your face and trade in lane. Adam had something like he had a ridiculous number of solo kills during the regular season, and while he does die a lot, be warned that he will try to fight you in the 1v1.
And we've seen a couple times teams self-banning basically the Jace, leaving it open there for a Kennen pick, because when Jace is banned, then it's more enticing to blind pick a Kennen for top lane, because one of the biggest lane counters isn't there. So we've seen actually a couple teams nudging the other into picking an early Kennen, and it definitely paid off previously.
Alrighty, so we're loading onto the Rift, and it's going to be a difference of experience here. Deft with 70 international games. Adam, a rookie this split. Bwipo, role swap to jungle this split. And being a last-minute substitution, hasn't played in a league bigger than EU Masters. Yeah, he got to the finals there. Look, he's played on some level of pressure, but now you're up at Worlds against Deft, of all players. Any AD carry worth their salt knows to respect Deft and his long legacy of success.
It's actually very surreal, the situation that Fnatic find themselves in right now. You're going up against some pretty crazy players in the form of Chovy and Deft, and Fnatic will be fielding these rookie rosters, and experience is definitely something that's so standing, because when you kind of look at also the history of this organization, while Fnatic has like 8 years of competitive experience, the individual experience is actually so low with 2 EU Masters players, and Nisqy not making it to Worlds.
I feel like this game is being set up to be an advertisement for EU Masters. Hey, come down.
We use every opportunity, Kobe.
Look at these prospects. You too could nab one for yourself.
I mean, it's great. It is one of the interesting things about like professional League of Legends in Europe is there are other leagues than LEC in the greater continent of Europe. Nisqy got his start playing one split in Turkey, then one split in Russia, then came to North America, then went back to Europe. And Bwipo in a very similar boat. I think actually, sorry, he was the one who played in Turkey, then Russia, but Nisqy played in Turkey and then went to NA. And it's like there are other leagues you can kind of go to. So yeah, there's so much place to get experience. There's a lot of slots to kind of level up and be ready for this kind of experience. So here we are.
I like how you include NA as one of the other
yeah,
that you can play
a lot of
Europe.
Aspiring strong European players come to play in the LCS.
I feel included.
It's just true.
So basically, Fnatic's also representing NA. I like it.
Yeah.
We got there eventually.
Okay.
Here is the delayed invade onto red buff from Fnatic.
All right, I like this one, though. They are passing through their own vision. I believe they weren't spotted on this walk, but Willer, of course, knows to play on the safe side of this one. Looks like we're not going to have too much spice going in here. Willer is saving his smite. Theoretically, there's a chance he fights this red buff. He's actually going to spot the grave, so if you're really lucky, and he's like, yeah, I have to smite that. I have to be smart about this one. But careful, red buff difference means a level 2 Lee Sin is not going to be too happy. Will be able to get away and should have no problem going after the Raptors. But do you really do this? Oh my gosh, Bwipo? I don't think you kill him.
It's okay that you don't kill him, because you just completely neutered him. He has no jungle. He crosses over. Chad moved to take out his blue side jungle. They preemptively have already control warded the river here, and the Lee Sin has no health potions left. He's so low. Willer is just getting beaten up.
Nisqy, though, getting beat up a little bit here as well. Will Chovy land a tornado? No, going to be sidestepped. But yeah, Willer says, okay, I'm going to start blue buff. No, I'm not. That's Hylissang. Okay, this is here. Ignite. Q has to flash away, and Willer's still in one camp.
And that's why it was such a bold, just heroic move there from Bwipo to in your face between your towers, cross over. He's not looking for the kill. He's looking to beat Willer out of his own jungle, because his bottom lane with the extra ward through river can easily defend it. Just so well done and set up from Fnatic. That confidence. This man just role swapped a jungle, and he's jungling on your side of the map.
He's just... But the thing about Bwipo is this is just him in a nutshell. He's like, can I fight this guy? Yeah, I can fight this guy. And it's just the awareness to then move into the top side, deny everything from Willer. And now look, the classic Adam Braum, level 3, he's in the mid lane.
Flash for the root, but they're going to get a lot of this blocked off. Decent damage, but Chovy will survive. Flash down, though. Flash trade to the mid laners. But TP difference between Nisqy can get back into lane for pressure.
Oh my word.
Willer has 2 camps. Willer, I mean, we know he can't go anywhere. He tried opposing blue. Fnatic roam. He got his own Krugs. Great. You're not getting a scuttle. You're not getting a gank off. You're on 2 camps. Take a recon. See you later.
Inject this right into my veins. I am just busting out of this box right now. Holy moly. Bwipo, I was already so impressed at how well and how quickly he adapted to this role swap from Fnatic. I have to be honest, when I first heard about it, I was very skeptical. And yet he became, in just 1 year, one of the top junglers in Europe. And he is absolutely blasting here on the world stage with, yes, the help of the team, but it is about setting up and coordinating with your lanes for protecting those areas of the jungle. Guess what? Willer is still level 2 on this champion.
He gets away from it, still gets pulled back in. Chovy is punched, and the rookie Adam from France finds first blood at Worlds.
So this is just... This is Adam. This is what he does. He's not a top laner. He's jungler number 3 on Fnatic. All of them looking to play for mid lane. What they do is they try to unlock Nisqy on the map so that he can start to roam. They invested the early flash, and then Adam comes down for the repeat gank. Yes, he's behind in CS. He'll be able to catch some of this farm, but from his perspective, he's like, my job's done. Now that Chovy is dead, now that Nisqy has more gold and can roam, this is when Nisqy then starts to pay it back to the rest of his
I got vibes of the Gladiator movie. Instead of this is Adam, this is Adam, and he just kicks Chovy into the pit. First blood on the superstar from Hanwha Life.
But this is also why, like, so many top laners in Europe, like, they get really annoyed with Azim because they're like, he won't 1v1 me. He just goes mid lane. He goes mid lane at level 2, level 3, level 4, and what Nisqy often gets so praised for is how well he uses lead. So now eyes fall on Nisqy. Can he leverage this advantage that he's been able to gain in mid to successfully set up the rest of the map?
So that EU Masters ad looked pretty good too.
Yep. I will say though, if we check gold, I bet you Nisqy's not actually ahead of Chovy. He was on a shared assist, and Chovy is Chovy. The man is still winning in farm, despite being camped. This is what he does. This is why he is such a legendary mid laner. His gold difference at like 15 across the play-ins was 990. Like, the man just shatters mid laners for breakfast. He's up 6 CS right now, and I mean, he can still be killed to flash his Yasuo, but he's doing real well for himself still.
Yeah, problem is he's got a jungler on 18 CS versus a Bwipo that has 47, and we'll see how that one turns out because it's a Yasuo with no flash. And when you're playing, again, melee mid laners, there's so many other factors you have to take into account. Yes, you're playing against Ryze, but Nisqy is happy to trade his flash there because he's got jungle pressure. He has possible roams as well coming in that can more easily punish. You, as bottom side, does get hooked in, but no commitment.
I think that both AD carries really want a reset here, but with Hanwha having the priority, and keep my eyes on mid right now because, as you mentioned, Chovy, even though he's put a lot of pressure down, will have the first rotation.
Bwipo gets the smite there. Willer couldn't get that one, but he's going for the flash away. Flayed back into the Yasuo! Deft gets the kill, but already Chovy's out of lane. There to set it up, and a great setup by Vsta.
It's just a faster collapse from Hanwha. They had the better setup around the bot wave, and Chovy was able to rotate in through mid into the river first. They really needed this to get a little bit back for Willer and to try and put Bwipo down.
Yeah, Willer definitely needed that. You can tell Bwipo's mentality there is, I'm not letting this little shrimp get anything, okay? Yeah, my crab, okay? His team comes to his aid, though. That was pure team difference there. Hanwha allowing the kill. Now bottom side, though, Deft with the Ignite burning.
But he's still running away, has all his summoners though. And they've just baited into Hylissang. Oh, he punches him! Deft didn't hit his summoners! He didn't heal, and that means Fnatic are gonna find the kill. The play's not gonna be enough. Bwipo's in for the kill, a huge mistake. Has now Morgan forced to run away. Adam just pushed them out of the lane.
Oh, you just got beamed right there! Whoa, Hylissang.
That was a Hylissang flash cue.
It was, but I wanted to say the bean line.
I know.
It's a lot better.
I respect it. But my word, that I mean, Deft was not prepared for that at all. Completely caught him off guard. And I think one of the biggest problems here for Bean is, yes, he does get hooked initially. A lot of the damage does get mitigated, though, and he's pretty low on mana here. Doing what he can to stay into this, but there's also a lot of minions, and you can see that now he's completely out of mana. He doesn't want to flash commit because he's not convinced he has the damage. But Hylissang's like, it's okay, I have the damage. I will flash commit and secure the kill. Now Adam in a 2v2.
A lot of danger, no ulti available, but has Hylissang in his back pocket. Fnatic support doing so much heavy lifting in this game. A really, truly stellar player, one to keep your eyes on. He's a lot of the reason why Fnatic has been successful in these years.
And as Betty mentioned, he's the reason why so many people still had confidence in Fnatic here. Like, you know what? It's fine. Bean, he was in finals, EU Masters. Sure. As long as you have Hylissang, you can just follow him, take his hand, he will lead you, and he does exactly that with the flash play there. So Fnatic very happy to get Hylissang out and open into roaming, as well as the Rift Herald is started up by Willer.
Willer able to leech enough XP to reach level 6. At least he's got his ultimate up there. Ulti combo going to come in. Not a ton of damage. Deft able to sidestep that one. Once again, pulling in Hylissang, level 5. And Shock is down for Vsta, so pretty squishy here. Will there be a team fight? Not right now. Willer going to save on that smite. Both junglers are around. Bwipo needs to wait a few more seconds. His smite's not just yet, but it will be in time. That's going to be Herald resetting anyway. It's not going to matter.
So I noticed that Nisqy was actually backing up there to get closer to Adam so that he could use the Realm Warp to bring him in a little bit faster. Should a fight actually kick off. Morgan's ultimate is just about to come up.
The play to go for. He's got flash. He's got the sword shoes there as well. Bwipo trying to zone out the rest of the team. Willer's still waiting around though. I will not put it in smite range just yet, but he's still waiting a team fight. Bot lane is going to battle under the turret here as well. Realm Warp trying to find the play as Adam comes in. Yasuo dives in, and they're going to find the kill on a Graves. 1 for 0 so far. Adam going to get the punch, going to flash to safety. Hook on a Hylissang means kill number 2, and Chovy just routinely activated there. Nisqy forced to flash to safety. Willer will miss the Q as meanwhile, Bean is forced out of the bottom lane, so Hanwha Life wins on both halves of the map.
Exactly. Huge victory here for Hanwha Life. Great focus. You could see they immediately go on to Bwipo. 100% to 0 there. They get the knock up on him into the Kennen stun, taking him down, being able to burn out the Rift Herald fight, as well as Deft on bottom side. Because Bean already used his combo with his ultimate, he pushes him out of the tower, earns a turret play for himself simultaneously. So Hanwha get right back into it.
And look at how quickly Hanwha are able to claim control of this as well. So the ultimate in, Willer follow up, and then the flay is actually what sets up the ultimate for Chovy to then one-shot Bwipo. Yes, he is very strong. He does have a level advantage over the enemy jungler, but he's still quite squishy, especially this early on into the game. So the moment that he drops, Fnatic then lose a lot of their damage and their ability to commit to the fight. And again, Chovy, Deft, two of the people that we talked about for Hanwha Life coming into this game, you can see how dominant they are being in their respective lanes. They are players that you have to rely on and have to respect because they know how to build leads for themselves.
The small saving grace there for Fnatic was that because Bwipo did stay on the Rift Herald, they got the Rift Herald kill, and Nisqy was able to go in and pick up the Herald. Cost him his flash in order to get out and not die afterwards, but at least they did pick up the Herald in the aftermath, and that doesn't show on gold scoreboard right now, but should be a lot more money into Nisqy's pockets directly. Yeah. Usually when jungler picks up Rift Herald, obviously you're going to have to share at least half of your Rift Herald plate money with the jungler, but you can funnel the Ryze basically with Nisqy picking it up and try and get to the point where you can have the split push Ryze.
Nisqy doesn't have to share. That can always be nice. Adam, by the way, going full tank. We often see AD versions of Sett, but this time around he is going for some kind of a Sunfire build. The Bombi Cinder is in. That means he has to lock in for a tank mythic. Want to point out though that 3 turret plates have already been taken by Deft. We obviously know the loss of Upset is a big blow to Fnatic, and that turns into 27 CS and 3 turret plates. Deft is going to be a much bigger factor than Bean is on Misfortune here. Look for the hook, not going to land it. A couple of slows though might mean Vsta could be killed as Hylissang has to walk on back. Willer does not want to take the fight. Might have not had a ward to hop to, as now Adam's forced to run away. The combo comes in, Ryze instantly dead, and they're going to look for the Sett there as well. Stopwatch to buy time, but still a 2 for 0. Hanwha Life just completely crushing Vsta. Gets a double flay. No knock-up in for Chovy. Deft got to be a little bit careful as it is going to be Fnatic walking back to the turret.
And the collapse from Hanwha once again absolutely flawless. Chovy's already making his way down. Morgan is able to match the TP from Adam, and they're effectively able to punish Fnatic. And a lot of that came from a poor engage from Hylissang. He used his W early onto a minion to try and set up the passive early, but because of that, Deft saw a window where he could then look for the re-engage, and this is where Hanwha Life then start the fight in their favor.
Exactly, chunking down Hylissang early, then being able to have Chovy early rotate down. They section off the team fight, force away the rest of the members that were here early, and they can just collapse on the double teleport. Even with them both arriving, Fnatic, kind of like the Rift Herald's fight, were a little bit split here, and so Hanwha are able to focus fire down, immediately annihilate Nisqy, and then finish up Adam afterwards, catching him on the edge of that stun.
Gale forces that win for Aphelios, so he's ready to get out if he needs to, or follow in and get the assassination. Kick and Yasuo ult always really clean and easy. Fnatic gonna go ahead and look at mid lane turret right now. 40 seconds left on turret plates, and that means that they knock down 2. They would love to summon it. Nisqy needs to actually just hit that button. At this point, honestly, to summon it here and knock down the wave, I think a little bit, there we go. Does get it. They're gonna find probably plates 2, 3, and 4 of this one, and it will be a lot of gold on Nisqy. They will not get the entire turret, as top lane just being solo pushed. Good timing. Herald gets all 3 plates, and Nisqy gets plus 480 for that one. Keeps the gold a little bit closer, but yeah, Morgan alone in top lane. He's up 40 in farm right now, and he's getting his 3rd plate, almost.
And this is one of the big advantages for Morgan because of how often that Adam roams around the map. He's just been freely allowed to sit in the 1 versus 0, pick himself up towers, pick himself up farm, and he's getting very close to his first item. And while these early roams paid off a little bit for Adam, Freak, you were talking about it, it didn't really affect Chovy that much. He still had priority pretty consistently in his lane. He was still building up CS advantages, and you only have to look at the scoreboard to recognize, yeah, there's a huge jungle difference right now. But the laners, all going in favor of Hanwha.
And, you know, because Bwipo invested in steel caps, and Morgan being the one left alone, he doesn't have the MR or the tenacity for these big Kennen ultimates. Morgan can make or break this game for Hanwha. So it's gonna be a very big impact there. Very high importance on your flank wards here for Fnatic, but also Adam on the Sett has a big job as far as ulting the Kennen out to deny that big Kennen ultimate. If he completely stuffs Morgan, then things will be just fine for them.
Good play by Vsta. Able to read that it was going to be aggressive towards his teammate. Was already playing towards the back. Easily pulls Deft back, no problem. Gives us a little crab emote. Nice Cloud9 shout out there as Hylissang just gets jumped on, and he is gonna almost drop. Oh, yep, he's gonna still burn down. Thank you to, I believe, the end of a Calibrum snipe. Ignite helping with that one as well from Vsta, and that is a kill confirmed. 7-3 for Hanwha Life Esports.
Vsta and Deft, baby, another one locked up here. Really nice move there from Vsta. Play in, timing on the Ignite as well. Finish him off, and this is going to be, again, you already mentioned, but the Aphelios carry towards the mid stages is going to be a big thing here for Hanwha.
Well, sadly, Nisqy unable to get out of his lane. You know, we talked about the fact that he's supposed to pay his team back, and I've always loved Nisqy for his ability to roam. I think he's been a really good map player overall across his career. But this is one where, despite being on a Ryze, despite having a TP advantage permanently, having, you know, multiple ways to get across the map, his only assist is the one that his team gave him by going to his lane.
It's true. He's really struggled, and like in this matchup, a really good Yasuo player can just keep the Ryze locked underneath his turret. And funnily enough, Chovy is a really good Yasuo.
Ah, weird.
Weird like that, yeah. And he's been doing a great job. He's been making the rotations first. We saw it at the beginning in the river against Bwipo. We see it again in the roam towards bot lane. And even though Chovy doesn't have TP, it still feels like that he's everywhere that he needs to be at the right time. So props to the rest of Hanwha Life stepping up when Willa was put so far behind, because many junglers would really struggle to recover after a deficit like that.
Got to rely on your team in those scenarios. He did that to get the bottom side grab. Now he's, you know, getting ripped out while the last remnants of the mid turret are picked up. Those are indefensible by Hanwha, so it's going to be sacrificed no matter what. And it's nice to get your trades on the other side. You're pushing down top map. You will get the top side turret, plus you'll get second Rift Herald. So good exchange here for them.
There we go, turret knocked down. Gold difference about 2,200. Certainly it's going to feel good for Hanwha Life fans and players, but this is not insurmountable. Fnatic are still in this one. Honestly, Ryze side lane can still scale, of course. Graves, once he gets to his second item there, once the Eclipse comes through, like that should feel pretty good. So not out of it just yet, but obviously it has been Hanwha Life for most of this game.
So something that we haven't seen much of is the use of Wind Wall against bullet time, and how effective it can actually be in some of the upcoming fights. And I think that Chovy, as he often is, will be a player worth watching, because you know, even if an MF is a little bit behind in the laning phase, that ultimate can just rip through an entire enemy team, but a single Wind Wall could mitigate all of it.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that you have to keep in mind as Bean when you're looking for your ultimates, as you know, Dragon is picked up here by Fnatic with the early positioning before a collapse from Hanwha. Yes, you have to worry about Wind Wall, which is extremely frustrating. You're also going to have to worry about, you know, the Kennen flanks, where he's constantly looking to come in with that stun, so you cannot stand in the same spot. Plus, FLICKR can still provide value to this team, even though he is kept down so heavily in the early game. If you get a good flank into kick, all you need is a good kick for Chovy, and Yasuo comes flying in. So there's so many things with positioning that they're going to have to look at. and try and adapt here as Hanwha start to move their vision lines in deeper and deeper and make those rotations more difficult.
When's the next play? That's the question, because we have had the Dragons answer back. Hanwha Life didn't make the big play for the bottom side, so Fnatic, I mean, at the very least, buys a ton of breathing room, and that they're not going to be facing this Cloud Soul for a very long time. But here comes the dive, 3 on, kick and an ulti. It's a guaranteed combo, and Nisqy just cannot get away. But the answer back into Morgan, that's not going to happen either. The dunk will not be in range of anything. Finds Vsta, but that is just still not a target going to get anything out of as the mid lane turret, or sorry, bot lane turret falls.
Yep, there's your value right there. FLICKR, go in, get the kick. Yasuo, surgical removal of Nisqy. Plus, as you mentioned, pushing on bottom side for Deft. He has been relentless.
It's just advantages across the board right now for Hanwha, looking extremely clean. And obviously, they looked, well, their only loss in the playing stage was to LNG, and many even questioned whether that was largely down to a draft difference. Like, because they were playing very well in the early game, and the analyst has talked about would they be able to get early game leads against this Fnatic squad, and like, sure, they were killing them a bunch. It wasn't like they were dominating them because of how far behind their jungler got put, but their laners were reliable, as they often are. You looked at Chovy, you looked at Deft as being these consistent factors, and then Morgan being given so much freedom in his 1 versus 1 as Adam tried to assist the rest of the map that didn't really result in anything. Now Fnatic found themselves 3k gold behind, and it just feels like the Hanwha Life have so much more control on the map. And remember, Adam, he just invested his flash and ultimate on a support, which then didn't even result in a trade back in kills. So Fnatic definitely struggling right now against Hanwha.
Adam gonna go ahead and fight for the wave as Chovy clears it out, finds a little bit of punch damage, finds a short stun, but Chovy unperturbed. He's got a knockup, he's got a combo. They're gonna just assassinate this poor tank Sett. Merc treads affect nothing across those 2 champions. Now Bwipo found himself in a 1v2. He's got steel caps. That does not help against Kennen either, but they might find damage onto Morgan. The burst comes across and they find that kill. Nisqy even brings some minions for a party.
Ooh, Fnatic really needed that one to be able to save Bwipo there, get the kill for themselves, and because they're able to get that pickoff on Morgan, they also get bottom side turret, but Riftgeld ushered all the way into the inhibitor turret for that charge, and Willer's looking for another dive on mid.
This is dangerous. Yeah, Bean's gonna get rid of that. Means the rest of the combo is going to land no problem. He went for the wave clear, but Bean set it up. Sorry, Deft set it up. To be fair, Bean set himself up. But yes, the kill came across, and it's still Hanwha Life pretty much everywhere. A second turret does go down. It's some money back in the pocket, but now we're at a 4,000 gold difference.
A second flawless dive from Hanwha Life in the mid lane. Very well done to punish Bean. Now, Fnatic trying to look for something back. Hylissang, unfortunately, unable to land anything, and how Deft actually doing so much damage could turn this around.
Nisqy's down just to about 1,000 health, gets flayed back in as well. This is dangerous, it might be rooted. He's got a quick shield, the lock and helping, but now we've got to re-engage, and yes, Chovy is in. Gets one, hooked by some time, and now Adam punches and dies. This is 12-4, Hanwha Life, a cut above.
The members of Chovy Life Esports never faltered for a second. You get first blood on Chovy, but the Church of Chovy stands strong. And now it is looking at Baron, warded up behind the backside of Baron too. So even though Bwipo can try and get in here for a steal, does have smite, no blast cone, no flash.
All right, what can he even do? Because, yeah, Bwipo could ult backwards to get into range. You could dash forward, and they're not going to get him in there. Nope, not going to happen. Zoned out at the end. Had a chance to jump in, but not going to come through. So, Baron claimed the 22 minutes, and this is all Hanwha Life.
Oh, that was clean from Chovy, and it's so cool getting his perspective, because look at how he uses the ultimate to get onto the backline, gets onto the Graves as well, and then he has the shield from the shield bow to offer that extra bit of protection, and then the spacing around Adam. Just such flawless execution from the side of Hanwha Life, and it feels like that at every point after the early game shenanigans, they have just gotten the better of Fnatic. They've moved around the map better, they have collapsed better, and they have individually outperformed Fnatic.
Yeah, I just like from that replay how he charges up his Q on the Raptors and quickly enters the fight.
Yep, Axmic replay, Chovy effect pretty strong, but I gotta say, as much as people like to say it's Chovy Life, the entire team has done a lot here. He was, picked down in lane, but Vsta had so many good setups every single time. FLICKR goes in for the kick to make sure the ult's gonna land, and now Bwipo in a fight, knockup is found. Adam is probably gonna drop, has a big shield, buys some time, goes for the dunk, but it's still just 2-0. Deft has been activated, he's got the damage output here. Hylissang's days are numbered. The triple kill for the bot laner now as Chovy's in the chase for a bit more, but he's gonna be able to kite away and stay alive. Dragon gonna be on a silver platter.
That looks like a really good team fight for Fnatic, but once again, it's this wind wall that came up clutch in the choke point. Flash in, great hook.
Predicted! Nice flash hook from Vsta. The bottom lane of Hanwha has just smashed this entire game. Not to mention, Morgan went with the Horizon Focus. Item number 2 here on Kennen for max burst damage, max punishment on anyone who did buy steel caps. He is the only AP here on Hanwha, so he has to be a big threat, and he's gone full offense Kennen build. Yeah, no stopwatch, but also no Banshee's Veil, no nothing. It's all kill, no defense.
I gotta point out, by the way, Vsta, I gotta shout out all the former AD carries who became supports.
Okay.
Made the swap this year. Here he is at Worlds. So far, practically undefeated.
You know, there have been a lot of role swaps from multiple roles to support that have been very successful. As we see in this replay, though, starts out with another one of the knockups, but I want to keep my eyes on Deft because Deft has been crushing it. Picks up the double kill here. He's got red-white guns, so you cannot go close. He chases him down, dashes in with the Gale Force there, finishes off another close range with the... okay, never mind. We got another one.
We got a kick and a wait on the ult that Hylissang has to flash and W to get to safety, but stays alive, so okay, fair enough. Only a summoner forced out, but it's still map control.
Man, every time Willa kicks, Chovy ults. It's just literally every time. Sometimes it's instant, sometimes he waits, but whoever gets kicked is getting ulted by Chovy. The communication between the mid-jungle, flashing from Nisqy.
Flash follow, it's good work. There's a lot of damage, and Deft flashes the second half of the queue. Bullet time buys a bit of it, but now Nisqy slowed up and killed. Deft gets a follow through, but Adam is there. There's the duck, somebody he'll buy some time. Adam needs one more punch, and he gets some 950 on the top laner for that one. And now Fnatic have to run. Be careful, Bwipo could be chased down. Here comes the Q to follow, and you got Morgan in the back line there as well. Bwipo's shield bow is popped, but Willer, that was perfect timing. I think the Q landed just as shield bow ended and assassinates the jungler.
Revenge, freak, revenge.
Yeah.
It takes a while. You gotta rely on your team for a while. Get me this crab, get me this kill. I'll kick for your ultimates, I'll kick for your ultimates. Finally, he gets his revenge on Bwipo for the early invades. And that is definitely some strong mental from him there. Not tilting. You mentioned when, you know, junglers get reduced down to not even a single quadrant, but still are able to persevere.
Yep, go ahead and take this replay. Vedius, we got some cool fights here.
So this is just Fnatic looking to try and get back into the game. They see Deft in the mid lane, and they see an opportunity to try and make a play happen. Unfortunately for Fnatic, it didn't quite pan out the way that they wanted it. Just beautiful dancing backwards from Hanwha. The way in which they kite back, of course, Deft is kind of left out to die, but there's a lot that they can do because they recognize there's so much more to gain on the top side. Really great patience here from Willow, the use of the Lantern as well to give him an escape option, but they're just waiting for Morgan to come in from the flank to then get more kills. And Willow, who was put so far behind earlier, is dominating.
And we got to see, actually, why Collector could be good on Aphelios with the red buff. That's what killed off Nisqy. A red buff tick was like, and Collector. Otherwise, no one was hitting him, and Ryze is going to free fire, so that is part of the reason, like, we've seen the, like, Lord Dominix versus Collector, like, arguments online. There's just, like, one evidence piece in favor of Collector. Sometimes that tick really does matter. The execute does matter. And now, with a 10,000 gold lead, they managed to bait out the ulti from Hylissang. So, not going to be a pick off there, and Hanwha Life able to keep on pushing forward.
I like that we did get to see an attempt at a Fnatic brush play here.
Yeah.
But right before Hanwha are about to push in on the base, Deft handles mid lane while Chovy's got top the rift.
It's there. Nice try. Willer kicks. Not going to be the follow through just yet. Rooted in place, and there is the wind wall. Buy some time. Stay alive. But the wave is gone. Fnatic going to keep defending. And not going to be easy to kill off this Sett. Nah, he's tanky.
I just love how Willer's like, I got you, Chovy, I'm here. Goes in for the kick. Chovy's like, I am not taking that one. You have to know when to hold them.
Yep.
That was definitely a hold there. It's not really going to cost them everything. Very, very low cooldown on your kick to go in for there. They've still got full control of the map. Look at this mini-map. Please toggle us the vision, and you will see how lights out looks for Fnatic. It's all on their side of the map. Hanwha have fully moved up their vision line. In fact, trying to get some territory. They've only basically got, the one Fnatic rush there with their one lone control ward outside the base.
They're even pinging it for us. How nice of Fnatic to be like, yeah, these are where our wards are, guys. This is what we can see. So thank you for, I don't know, they're not watching the stream, obviously, but we got next Baron coming up soon. The first one looks pretty good. Several thousand gold. I want to say it's like 4,800 maybe, the first time the Hanwha Life Esports got it. And now they're going to go ahead and grab the second. It seems likely they try to force a fight around here at the very least, because again, with the 10,000 gold lead, you can take pretty much any 5-on-5 and it looks pretty good. Willer not gonna go for the big kick play, does respect his durability, does not have his GA done, his stopwatch is broken, so he can be assassinated. The Staric really his only defensive tool in that regard, so back he goes to the river. But the Baron setup begins.
What I think is crazy about Hanwha is, they don't need, Willer, that's a lot of damage, but they don't actually need him for the Baron because Chovy and Deft can just two-man it with a Yasuo and Aphelios who burn the Baron so quickly, they just can't afford to flip it. And I like the fact that they're now backing off. They realize that Fnatic has a little bit too much control of their side of the jungle, and instead they're going to disengage. Go take themselves the free Drake. Back off for now and just be comfortable. You know what, guys? We have a 10k gold lead. Yeah. We don't need to throw this. Let's instead just take the easier objectives and I'll take our time with what seems to be a guaranteed win at this point for Hanwha.
Exactly, and you want to get this dragon quickly here to try and get the soul arrival a bit quicker onto the map as well. You know, Cloud Soul would actually be nice for this one. Mention how important it is for, you know, positioning and being able to get in there for those big Kennen ultimates. Will be quite nice for Morgan. He's got a stopwatch, by the way, one use for a big team fight, and still continues on with so much damage. This Kennen flank is going to be extremely frightening.
And it's just thematic with Yasuo, so how can you not go for it, realistically? You know, you want as many as possible, it just makes you feel good. I do want to point out, though, you talked a bit ago about the sort of tilt-proof nature of Willer.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I told you, hey, there's a game where one jungler gets 2 camps, the other gets 8 on the first clear. One of them's 4-0 and 12, one of them's 2-4 and 1. Who would you attribute that to? You know, you'd be like, well, the guy who got jungle dipped really hard is probably 2-4 and 1. Nah, Willer, undeathed, I don't know, a deathless here in this one. Undead, yeah, whatever. He's just been for every fight, for every setup, and the goal difference has not mattered. He's been at the right place at the right time.
I think that Chovy just set it up really nicely earlier on in the game. Is Nisqy
There's the kick. Pretty beautiful. Stopwatch able to be used. The front line's going to be there. Hylissang running away, puts the shields on, and Nisqy runs away for dear life, but Deft just cuts him down one auto easier thanks to collecting the gold. And now mid lane can be under a bit of fire. Adam gets the wave clear and walks away.
Yeah, so as you can see, Hanwha basically get to do whatever they want. Their AD carry is higher level than every single Fnatic member. Chovy is level 17, and this Baron should be pretty easy for them to secure. The biggest hope that Fnatic have is that Bwipo can find some sort of miracle steal, but look at Morgan here, lying in wait, zoning Bwipo away from the objective. Hanwha want to deny 50-50 as much as possible.
All right, TV's come in. This is kind of the make or break moment, or it's all lights out. Fnatic gonna try, jump through the pit, and it was smiteable, but still claimed. Willer is able to make it happen. 1-for-0 in the team fight, as of course Graves will die. Morgan is low, but Morgan is not gonna stop. And it's time to get a bit more. Flash away from the hook. Adam is gonna spot Deft, but he's gonna be rooted in place, so that's gonna be a follow through. The shots come in, a quick shield, but they wanna chase this one. The flash in, not gonna get it just yet though, but a kick is there, a knockup is in. Under the tower they go, Chovy gets the double, and they're gonna get the last one. Hylissang will indeed drop. This is game over. 25-5. Bwipo was heroic in the level 2 jungle skirmish. Incredible play there. They put some pressure on a Chovy. They found first blood. The first few minutes belonged to Fnatic. The entire rest of it belonged to Hanwha Life Esports, the better team for sure, as they sit and wait for one final kill. Hey, Bwipo, that was really rude of you at the start. They missed the hook. Doesn't matter. Nexus falls, and Hanwha Life start with a win.
Bottom side, Deft and Vsta actually crushed it this entire game, save for the single surprise flash, Q flash from Hylissang to get them a single kill there. All the rest of it, though, so many picks, so many setups with good flays, good flash hooks from Vsta, as well as Deft pumping out the damage. Then Morgan also on the top side of the map, making them pay for leaving him alone. Huge AP threat for the team. And as you said, can always rely on Chovy there, so big Yasuo player all around here from Hanwha. You know, good game.
I think that Willer was just really instrumental as well in the sense that he kicked, Chovy ulted, and every single time it resulted in something big for Hanwha Life. And I think that one of the biggest things that we saw was Nisqy just didn't get out onto the map. And that was a staple of Fnatic's success during playoffs. It is what allowed them to make it all the way to the finals. So huge credit to the carries of Hanwha Life, because they really did shut down ultimately what makes Fnatic a strong team.
And to me, I named Vsta and Willer as the carries, because as soon as Chovy was 6, he went and joined them, and it's a flash flame ult. guaranteed to get the kill on Hylissang. Lee Sin shows up when Nisqy TPs, kick into ult. He's dead there. So the setups was always, yes, of course, Chovy laned really, really well. Yes, he kept Nisqy in spot, but the setups were on point. The coordination was there. I will still say for myself, team effort, and the setup guys deliver a lot of effort. Now, either way, Rift reaction gets you closer to all the action from Worlds. You'll hear Travis Gafford and Emily Rand as they react to play-ins. A new episode drops on Thursday, and they want to hear from you. Which of the 4 play-in teams do you think is most likely to make it out of groups? Some evidence here, of course. Be sure to check out the Rift Reaction podcast and let us know your thoughts exclusively on Spotify. For now, day 1 of groups continues with LNG versus Gen G. Don't go anywhere.